Hello, welcome to Gamer TV. Coming up, make the folks back home proud. In Medal of Honor, European Assault. Find out how to make movies using video games.
It's actually better than I thought.
Hillbilly haulage comes to the console in Big Mother Truckers 2.
Have you ever tried the movie business?
But first, realistic racing on the Xbox. This is Forza Motorsport. Motorsports fans are very nice and everything, but let's face it, some of them make the most pedantic Star Trek fans look like disinterested window shoppers. Same with lovers of racing games. Tune this, customise that, analyse this in exhaustive detail. Forza Motorsport is the perfect example of a title that's absolutely stuffed to the carburettor with realism, and as a result, is soulless and even a bit dull. It's by no means bad, it looks fabulous and faithfully reproduces a varied selection of cars. Replays are great, modelling and damage effects are also well done. It's just that life is sometimes disappointing, and lifelike games equally so. Car improving options include the now mandatory cosmetic changes, as well as a dizzying of stats, graphs and little buttons. The quirkiest of the garage options, however, is the Drivatar, an artificial intelligence system that learns to drive by watching you. In effect, the Xbox marks your cornering. It really is a question of how much you care, though. Even when the race produces nothing but numbers, would a huge crowd of cheering girls be too much to ask? Arcade and career modes are present, as are online and split-screen multiplayer. Still, we did find it odd that a lot of the game's glamour was saved for the time trial mode. A spin through New York City, anyone? What a relief. Point-to-point races are also more fun, especially when speeding through quaint sleeping shopping districts. Serious racing games are fine, but Forza still lacks Gran Turismo 4's gravitas. Obsessives will love it, and it's certainly not sloppy, but more casual gamers will find it a little uneventful. We'll give it 3 out of 5. And we didn't mean to insult Star Trek fans earlier. Well, not much anyway.
What are you doing here, rookie?
Aspiring filmmakers have a new tool at their disposal. We tracked down 3 digital auteurs in New York. They're all practitioners of an emerging art form called Machinima.
Machinima is using video games to create animated films. We use the characters as our actors, and we use the environments as our sets.
You don't need to buy expensive cameras or sound, and you can have a cast of thousands just by, pressing a few keys.
Red vs. Blue helped highlight the Machinima scene, a Halo-based web sitcom about life in Blood Gulch. It's grabbed the attention of news agencies and TV shows. Globe.
What should I do? Don't let them catch on to you. Just act like you normally do. Wait, not like you. Act like someone more brave, smarter, more passionate, for God's sake.
Okie dokie, Sarge.
He's a dead man now.
But Machinimas have been slowly gathering fans on the internet for a few years.
Machinima was created in 1997 by a bunch of gamers using Quake to be able to create a film. From that point, people started using Quake more and more to create what was known then as Quake movies.
This is not Duke Nukem. We can't go blowing things up all the time.
Machinima production has come a long way since then. New software like this package, Machinimation, is specifically designed to allow budding filmmakers to take advantage of video game engines.
In this particular program, you have the ability to create cameras and create lights and record actions and actors, actually, within the game engine itself. And basically what it allows us to do is allows us to roam the environment, which you see here, and we can then place cameras however we would like. Say if we want to camera this to get this wide angle, and we would set this up. We could also add lights, add different characters, like I can go ahead and add a new recording here, which is a different actor. But now if we will preview the scene, you'll see two characters doing a similar type of animation.
And if you fancy yourself as a virtual Steven Spielberg, getting started couldn't be simpler.
I think anyone who would like to start in creating a machinima film really just needs to get a video game that they really like to play and capture the video footage from that particular game. And then use editing software to put the different captures together to create their own narrative film.
There are also signs that Machinima is crossing over into the mainstream. In their short film Game Over, Ethan Vogt and Nathan Moller used a game engine to create a commercial for a new car.
Nice wheels.
The project we worked on together was a screenplay for a new car. Since the car was new technology, we decided to do something using a game engine and see what could be done with that.
Looks pretty good if you ask me.
Game On used the Unreal Engine, and we used a program that comes with the game called Unreal Editor that allows you to change the in-game assets like the characters, the cars, the levels, and such.
Oh? Larry, where are you? We're about to get started.
I'm just stuck in a little traffic. I'll get there soon.
With video game technology improving all the time, these pixelated pioneers could be the vanguard for a powerful new way of making movies.
Conventional animations will start to look more and more like machinima productions, and eventually the two will merge.
Because Machinima is so good at physics and so good at action, I see there's going to be a new James Bond type movie that'll be made completely in the Machinima world, and I think it'll blow people away.
James Bond Machinima, eh? Who ever thought it?
Time to test the big battery.
Now we peek under the games industry's skirts to bring you Spam Filter. Bad news for Euro handheld gamers. Sony's new handheld, the PSP, won't hit European stores until September. Lucky Japanese gamers got their mitts on it last year, and American gamers got to grips with the handheld last month. Stock and component shortages are to blame for the machine's late arrival in Europe. At least the delay gives eager gamers the chance to start saving for Sony's sleek bit of kit. Horrific Hamlet Silent Hill is getting a big screen treatment. Shooting has already begun on a movie starring Sean Bean and Pitch Black's Radha Mitchell. Writing and producing duties are being carried out by Tarantino collaborator Roger Avery, so there's a good chance Silent Hill will be a lot better than your average game-to-movie adaptation. Namco, the developers behind Tekken, have torn a leaf out of Rockstar Games' book and are planning a gangster-style 3D adventure. Called Urban Reign, expect to punch, kick and generally bat the hell out of street gang opponents when the game's released later this year. Games are good for you, it's official. Research carried out by the Swedish Public Health Office has shown games increase spatial thinking, which helps with problem solving. Furthermore, the Scandinavian researchers can't find a conclusive link between violent games and violent behaviour. So the next time you put off going to the gym to sit down and play a game, just remind yourself you're taking a workout for the mind. Well, it seems competition is a healthy thing after all. With Medal of Honor and Call of Duty continuing their struggle over the World War II shooter crown, we seem to be getting better and better games. It's nearly time for Electronic Arts to re-enter the arena with Medal of Honor European Assault, and a bleak and eerie thing it's looking too. we've had a brief glimpse at unfinished code, and we can report savage street battles, ruined buildings, and most impressively of all, a desperate mission against the German rocket factory. Even at this stage, this is clearly miles away from the sun-drenched action of Pacific Assault or Rising Sun. Depressing might be the word, but that doesn't stop the game also seeming loud, intense, and frankly stunning to behold. The emphasis with European Assault seems to be on the hidden war traditionally ignored by the history books. There'll be no Pearl Harbor or D-Day this time, and virtually all the shots we saw were of partially destroyed homes, empty parks, and abandoned churches. Once again, EA have sought the advice of a military expert. Captain Dale Dye returns to bolster the game's authenticity, and from what we've seen, he's done his work well. Period weapons, vehicles and landscapes are convincing, even if they make you feel like running for the sunny comfort of a Mario game when you start playing. The war continues, between console shooters at least. We'll be back with a full review before the game hits the shelves in June. Still to come, form a convoy of your rig with Big Mother Truckers 2. Meet the E.T. with attitude in Alien Hominid. Plus, slip on your green tights and flick elves pointy ears in Guild Wars. See you after the break. Welcome to Gamer TV. Coming up, attention! Bullets, bombs, and bazookas. It can only be Battlefield 2. Meet the weirdly named new handheld, the Gizmondo. And get on your bike in MotoGP 4. But first, conspiracy theories, aliens, and David Duchovny. No, it's not the X-Files, but we are taking a trip to Area 51.
You will not be leaving this facility alive.
Aliens, commonly perceived to be friendly, bug-eyed explorers. But what if they weren't? What if, in fact, they were involved in some devilish plot to mutate ordinary men into monsters? What if only a prolonged frenzy of barrels scorching fire and tossing grenades would uncover the conspiracy? Well, the first thing you do is hire David Duchovny to voice your character. He's here at Area 51, but to be honest, he doesn't sound all that thrilled about it.
McCann talked about cover-ups, but I always thought the government was too inept for hoaxes this complex. In this den of lies, will I ever find the truth?
Based on an ancient arcade shooter, Midway's Area 51 is an energetic greatest hits of FPS features. We didn't have massively high hopes for this one, but we're pleased to report that it's really rather entertaining.
Now let's see what this baby can do.
Impressive features include the environments, which are well used, and you'll also enjoy being able to turn the weapons of the enemy against them, be it gun turret or flying saucer. The interiors of the saucers are even prettier, and despite occasional monotony, all visuals are crisp, atmospheric, and spacious. As well as the erstwhile X-Files star, shock rocker Marilyn Manson is on board to provide the voices of the evil extraterrestrials. A logical and amusing touch.
Our enemy hides with the machinery of deception. It's this deceit that might draw our last breath.
Your arsenal is unspectacular and tends to suffer from a common FPS complaint. The bigger and more exotic your gun is, the less fun it tends to be to use. We found ourselves sticking mostly with the assault rifle, with occasional dabbles with the shotgun and sniper rifle. If you've got Ruined Labs, you think of Half-Life. However, Area 51 wisely uses the folklore of its famous location to provide some great set pieces. How about visiting the studio where they filmed the fake moon landing? Not a world beater then, but a very solid shooter nonetheless, especially on the Star PS2. We'll give it 3 out of 5. Special ops, terrorists, big guns, bigger bangs, it must be a Red Storm game. Since Red Storm was founded by Tom Clancy in 1996, they've become the world leader in creating team-based tactical shooters, with the likes of Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon. Clancy's books are known for their technical accuracy, and this attention to detail is continued in the games that bear his name. So we went to Red Storm's headquarters in North Carolina to meet the crack squad of operatives out to make their games as real as possible.
We've had people from the military, from the police say, we saw this, we even used it as a training aid, we like the way it plays, that it feels real. We are constantly trying to give people that believability. You want to give them the essence of this is what it's like to be there, but you want to give them the fun parts.
Their lead designer even has first-hand experience of what's real and what's not.
I was in the Marine Corps, the Army Guard and Air Guard. Yeah, military experience really helps when you're developing, obviously, military games. The biggest thing that really helps out is in the details, from the way the character moves, to the uniforms that the character wears, to how weapons sound, how weapons work and reload. All of that really, really helps because all that information is just kind of available to the teams.
But sometimes, of course, being told the details isn't enough. You have to see them for real.
We have thousands and thousands of dollars of gear at the studio here, and that allows us to get a really high level of realism.
One of the big things about buying this gear is when you put it on, you realize that you move differently. A lot of people will make the mistake of when they do motion capture, you'll see these guys in these black leotards, and they move very nimbly and they run around. But when you translate that to a character that's wearing 70 pounds of kit, they're not going to move like that at all.
We have some gear items that would help if it was a mass invasion, but I think that we would probably be pretty much in the same shoes as everybody else.
So he might say, after seeing this lot, we weren't so sure.
The standard MP5, when Rainbow Six went on the map, this was the gun that they carried. It's a 9mm submachine gun with 30-round magazine. This is the Beretta M9, the standard sidearm of the U.S. military. The M4A1 assault rifle, currently the standard carbine used by the U.S. military. You've got the EOTech hollow sight, laser detonator, collapsible stock. And so, obviously, if you're making a military game, you've got to have an M4.
We might be slightly better armor plated than your average U.S. civilian, I guess.
Next, we got the really big guns. This is the standard U.S. military anti-tank weapon. It's disposable, one shot. You just deploy the sights, put it over your shoulder, then you can engage a bunker, or a tank, or whatever else is coming at you.
Attention to detail is all very well and good, but you have to wonder if people would even notice if Red Storm cut a corner here and there.
The thing with us is it takes roughly the same amount of time to get something right, detail-wise, as it does to get it wrong. So we've always, head on getting things right.
We're trying to make a great game, but we're trying to make a believable game. When those people say that's the way that weapon looks, that's the way that weapon feels, that's a great compliment.
So even though when we're taking out terrorists, the scale of our MP5 isn't foremost in our minds, it's good to know that the real Special Forces guys will be just as happy playing Red Storm games as we are. Time now for the games industry's dirty laundry to get aired in public. This is Spam Filter. Movie studio Universal have released new pictures from the highly anticipated movie adaptation of Doom. The film, starring wrestling legend The Rock and Lord of the Rings star Carl Urban, will differ from the universe established in the games. This time around, a team of Marines will investigate strange goings-on at an Earthbound research lab, rather than a lone Marine struggling to survive on a demon-infested Mars. Vivendi Universal and Valve Software, the brains behind hit shooter Half-Life 2, have settled a long-running legal dispute. The settlement means Valve's entire catalogue of games, including Counter-Strike, will be removed from stores and will be available to buy through Valve's online service, Steam. Good news for online shoppers, bad news for those of us who prefer stores. Japanese game and toy giants Namco and Bandai are to merge, creating the third largest software company in Japan. Namco has a lineup of valuable properties, including Tekken, and Bandai owns blockbusting toy lines and TV shows like Dragon Ball Z. This deal could see them emerge as a serious contender in the game space. US fans of video game music should be in for a treat this summer. A troupe of video game music composers, including Jack Wall and Tommy Tallarico, will be taking part in a tour, bringing video game tunes to concert halls and stadiums across America. If the name Circle Studio isn't immediately familiar, then we'd better tell you that it's the new home of Jeremy Heath Smith and Adrian Smith, creators of the Tomb Raider series. Their debut game is almost upon us, and yes, those amazingly persistent terrorists are at it again. Carl Rivers, Jack Hooper, and Ed Reagan.
It's time to wipe them out.
Names that positively drip testosterone. Terrorists have targeted a lone chemical facility, and only these three lads can stop them, by shooting at them, unsurprisingly. Without Warning, with its sinister cinematics and shadows, may look like a stealth title, but that probably won't stop the bullet count running to 6 figures. Each character will have its own unique abilities, and they've got company. 3 luckless civilians have got mixed up in the Crisis 2. If you've been waiting your whole life for a game where you play a covert operative and a receptionist, then it's time to get the party streamers out.
It's time to get out of here.
In a move not in any way nicked from a certain US TV show, the game's action takes place in one 12-hour period. Circle Studios promising a smooth mixture of game styles, including hostage rescue, bomb disposal, and the perennial favourite, shooting at people until they're completely dead. Despite a creeping fear that even the next Mario game will pit you against terrorists, we're looking forward to Without Warning. If this early footage 10 minutes go by, we can expect a very polished title, even if it does make you completely paranoid. Expect a review later in the year. Still to come, sing when you're winning in SingStar Pop World. 4 wheels bad, 2 wheels good. MotoGP. Thanks for the memories in Battlefield 2. Join us after the break. Welcome back to Gamer TV. Next up, bring on the bikers in MotoGP 4. In the scramble to produce the latest and greatest console racing experience, the motorbike is often overlooked in favour of its four-wheeled cousin. Not so with the MotoGP series, the official games of the biking equivalent of Formula One. Developed by Namco, these have been going for some time. They're up to the 4th PS2 edition and are now published by Sony, which might just explain why there's no Xbox version this time round. Thanks to Namco's close cooperation with Dorna Sports, the MotoGP licensing body, this title features all the circuits, riders and bikes from the current season. If you want a game that allows you to race around tracks such as Le Mans, shoulder to shoulder with legendary riders like Max Biaggi, this is certainly it. Now the smaller 125 and 250cc engine classes have been included, you can cut your teeth at lower levels of the sport before straddling those monstrous 990cc road rockets. There are training sessions to help you get to grips with the realistic handling physics. And it's quite a relief that there are also options to dumb down the level of simulation for a more arcade feeling ride. Racing games these days aren't much use without comprehensive multiplayer modes, so MotoGP 4 supports offline split screen for up to 4, with online racing for a whole gang of 8 bikers. We'll give this 4 out of 5. MotoGP 4 looks great, has plenty of speed and hits an admirable balance between simulation and fun. You're looking at the most complete two-wheel console racer yet. Humiliating your friends always makes you feel powerful, doesn't it? Well, here at Gaming TV, we can put our friends' appalling singing voices into television programmes, so, believe me, we're feeling like Mina Merciless.
Your own personal Jesus.
SingStar Pop World is Sony's latest karaoke title, and one that's rather pointlessly styled after the UK music show Pop World. There are 36 songs, both current hits and golden oldies, and well, you sing over them.
It's a woman on the highway.
Some might say that this is a cynical attempt to advertise Sony music, and they'd be right. However, it's still fun to join the stars even if a music track without vocals might have appealed more to true karaoke fanatics. There's a smattering of multiplayer modes where singers can choose to emulate individual members of a group. There's also a rap scoring mode for those convinced of their rhythmic powers, if not their ability to remember the words. Our favourite feature are the special effects where your own voice can be pitched up or made to sound like a robot.
She was just walking down the street saying, should I stay or should I go now?
It's the choice of music that's really important though, and we were impressed to see the Clash mixing it up with Kylie. He, Fountains of Wayne, and of course Tom Jones. When thinking of this game, the word harmless floats into your brain and stays there. We'll give it 3 out of 5.
And I feel whoa.
Handhelds are like London buses. You wait ages for one, then a couple come along at once. With this in mind, it's rather apt that the launch of the latest pocket console, the Gizmondo, was held in London. With the two kings of the pocket console war, the PlayStation Portable and the innovative Nintendo dual screen duking it out for market dominance, the Gizmondo will have its work cut out taking on those two heavyweights. It may have a bizarre name, but the machine does at least have functionality. This handheld is the game's equivalent of an electronic Swiss Army knife. It has a camera, an MP3, a movie player, and GPS navigation, so you never get lost. But most importantly, it's a games machine, and this is where it will be judged. A sparse launch lineup of only 2 titles, Trailblazer and Batman: The Classic Pack, isn't the best possible start though. But there are plans for a further 87 games to be available by the time Gizmondo celebrates its first birthday, and at this rate, they're gonna need them. To coincide with the launch and make sure there was at least one shop stocking it, Gizmondo opened their own high street store. There's nothing like a party with free booze to get the celebrities crawling out of the woodwork. For once though, these weren't your normal Z-list bunch. When money's no object, you can attract some giants to shamelessly endorse your products.
I mean, it's just, you know, it puts you in the zone of understanding what the Gizmondo is all about.
You know, the store itself is just, you know what I'm saying, you can tell they put a lot of thought and like a whole lot of preparation into the game system.
We're on the road like 200 something days out of the year, so yeah, we're always moving around. So that Gizmondo's gonna come in real handy, you know what I'm saying, playing games and everything, watching movies.
It's cool, it does everything but make me dinner.
A lot of kind words from the early adopters of the Gizmondo craze. Hey, who says money can't buy you love? As a reward for a heavy day of trying to figure out how to switch their machines on, our trusty celebrities were whisked off to another Gizmondo party.
There are a lot of great names on stage. I can't wait. I think they've got a fantastic lineup. It's going to be a huge night.
Back inside, the Revelers were treated to a lineup that would put most music festivals to shame. Busta Rhymes, Pharrell Williams, Jamiroquai and Sting all put the Gizmondo marketing budget to good use. Actor-comedian Tom Green showed why it's not always a good idea to give your guests free drink.
Because it's considered like a radio-type device, it actually has to go through a more stringent series of tests than a cell phone. You do this to a cell phone? That's done.
There is no arguing that the Gizmondo team can throw a great party and attract the big names. But when they have all gone home, it's gamers that will decide the fate of the machine. Let's just hope they treat it better than Tom Green. As far as multiplayer military shooters go, the epic Battlefield franchise has proved hard to outgun since it arrived in 2002. After both historic World War II episodes and a quick trip to Nam, the series is due to be brought right up to date with this forthcoming sequel. Battlefield 2's front lines will be found in modern-day war zones with 3 military superpowers in conflict. You'll be able to represent US forces, the Chinese, or the entirely fictional Middle East Coalition, in online skirmishes that support up to 64 players simultaneously. Each faction will have their own brand of high-tech killing equipment, with different classes of soldier having hardware and abilities to suit their role. The 30-plus vehicles will also hail from the modern era, with Humvees, boats and choppers, lining up alongside the latest tanks and vertical takeoff jets. Enhanced team play features should ensure that those who like things squad-based won't be disappointed, and if your troop displays enough heroism in action, they'll be due some field promotion, which can eventually lead to new stuff being unlocked. Moving on from the dated no-frills look of previous versions, the new game will boast massively improved detail on the terrain, soldiers and vehicle models.
Damn it, sorry.
It's all thanks to an entirely new game engine that, from what we've seen so far, certainly looks the part. Expect an in-depth review when hostilities commence on this new Battlefield in June. Time for us to head back to the command bunker now for a nice cup of tea. But join us next time for more Gamer TV.
In this den of lies, will I ever find the